Fartcoin is living in its own universe. Not only is the token up while everything else is down, there are some metrics around the token that are very unusual. For example, the market cap of Fartcoin is much higher than it should be. Let me show you what I mean. So first of all, this is not a unique thing that's happening today. Fartcoin tends to be less correlated with the overall market compared to other altcoins. And it's not just the top performer today, it's also by far the top performer in the last 90 days. It 4x'd while SPX 6900, one of the top meme coins, barely doubled. It has been somewhat of a roller coaster ride though. After the initial hype, we saw a massive dump from $2 all the way down to 20 cents to then now recover again. Now I've covered Fartcoin several times on this channel. This is now video number 9. And the very first video was published 228 days ago. And the video performed pretty much according to average videos on this channel. It didn't outperform a lot, it didn't underperform. And I mean this in terms of the number of views that the video got. Now that very first video was published when the price was still at 5 cents. And I recommend you check other YouTubers, other crypto YouTubers that are now talking about Fartcoin. When did they first cover Fartcoin? Was it at the end when the bull run has already finished, or was it early like on this channel? I publish videos regularly on various altcoins on this channel, and I try to cover the ones that still have sufficient upside. So feel free to subscribe over here. It's of course 100% free. Now let's continue. With all of that growth, Fartcoin is now the second largest trending token on the Solana chain. The only token that's larger than that is the official Trump token. Of course, it's hard to beat a token that's been launched by the President of the United States. But still, the liquidity on chain is 19.6 million. Today, we've got a bit over 1,000 wallets interacting with the token. And of course, there are more buyers than sellers. That's why the price is going up. By the way, this was the time when the very first video on Fartcoin was published on this channel. So way before this massive run, a 500% rally. By the way, if you're wondering how we got to that token early, it was through wallet tracking. So we looked at other influencers, we looked at what are they buying and selling, and we found a lot of influencers buying Fartcoin at the time, and so we simply joined as well. Now at the beginning of this video, I said that Fartcoin is much larger than it should be. And here's the reason. This is an overview of the Pump.fun ecosystem tokens. So that's all the tokens that have been launched via the leading Solana Memecoin launchpad. And just have a look at the difference in market cap of number 1 versus number 2. It's almost a 5x. $1 billion of market cap in Fartcoin, but only 200 million of market cap in Peanut. There's nothing in between. Isn't that odd? Isn't it odd how the market cap is so large and how the token behaves very different to the general market? And let's see if we can find out what's going on. So let's have a look at the on-chain metrics, the people that buy and sell the tokens. Let's look at the transactions on the Solana chain. Now we've got more than 150,000 wallets that hold the token on the Solana chain. Yesterday, another 1,369 new wallets traded the token again. But of course, there are more recurring traders than first-time traders because this token has been around for a while. The trading volume is relatively constant. Of course, it does come in waves, but in the last 2 to 3 months, we had relatively steady trading activity. Now this trading activity is measured in US dollars and it's split up by different wallet cohorts. Small retail means wallets that have less than $1,000 worth of the token. Medium-sized retail means up to $10,000, large retail up to $100,000, and whales above $100,000. When we normalize that trading volume to 100% every day to see who is dominating that trading, we see that over time, small retail takes over more and more of that trading. Now this can be small retail, this could also be arbitrage bots. So wallets that don't hold much of the tokens, but that simply take advantage of mispricing, potentially with centralized exchanges, or potentially, and here it comes, with the derivatives market, with the perpetual futures market. Because really, nowadays, the price discovery does not happen anymore directly on the Solana chain. Most trading volume on the spot market happened on the centralized exchange HTX, but on perpetual futures, so on bets on the price, there was even way more trading volume, more than $1 billion worth in the last 24 hours. Compare this again with spot, where there's only 60 million. So it's really the bets on the price that move the price, and then the arbitrage bots balance out that pricing on chain. In fact, on chain, we didn't see any holder growth this year. That's true for small retail, so the wallets that have 1,000 tokens. It's true for medium-sized retail, so that's the wallets with 10,000 tokens. And it's also true for the whales, so that's the wallets with 100,000 tokens. So again, no wallet cohort is currently accumulating, yet the price is nicely recovering. And I believe that's because of the short-term leverage on the price. It's because of the perpetual futures. The funding rate of those perps tends to be positive most of the time. So in other words, the longs have to pay the shorts. Most people bet on rising prices. At the same time, the open interest is also going up. And open interest is very highly correlated with the spot price if most activity happens on the perpetual futures. Up to this day, there are very few liquidations happening, which further stabilizes the price. And so that's the fundamental difference, right? When people buy a token on spot on the Solana chain and they hold this in their wallet, the price tends to just go up over time. But if there is short-term capital in the market with a lot of leverage, and perpetual futures tend to be short-term capital because of the high financing costs, then that increased price due to the leverage might deflate at some point. And I think we're not that far away from that deflation. What we see over here is the Fartcoin price relative to Solana. There seems to be an invisible ceiling over here. It's not that obvious on the US dollar chart because here the tops don't align, but relative to Solana, the tops do very much align. If all of this did not happen because of spot market buying, but it happened because of increased open interest on the perpetual futures, then I think there is a good case to be made that Fartcoin will long-term underperform Solana again. People will at some point unwind their perp positions again. Just have a look at all of the meme coins on Solana. How much more upside potential is there really? The official Trump token is double the size of Fartcoin. Is Fartcoin going to be double or triple the size of the Trump token? I doubt it. I don't think there's another 5 or 10x from here. Fartcoin is already way too large. But there is the potential for Fartcoin to underperform again, and that underperformance can be 80%. If the potential underperformance is 80%, but the likelihood for the token to do a multiple X is very, very low, then does it really make sense to hold Fartcoin long term now? It appears as if the smart money is selling the fastest. The whales are unloading much faster than small retail. And on average, the whales tend to make the better calls. They also bought Fartcoin much earlier. It took a long time for retail to catch up. And now they're also exiting quicker. And they're dumping on retail basically. Now, some people might make the argument that all of this analysis doesn't help at all because markets are efficient. But I tend to disagree because it's people that make markets efficient. There are clearly winners and losers in the game, and the winners tend to continue to win. So it's not just a game of luck, it's a game of luck and skill. And the nice thing about crypto is that we've got much more data in this market compared to other markets because every transaction is publicly recorded on the blockchain. But very few people actually use that data properly. And that's in the end where winners and losers are born. People that don't look into the details enough, they tend to lose over time. That's the vast majority. Now, the charts that you've seen in this video come from a tool that I've developed myself on top of the Dune Analytics platform. It's part of the premium membership of this channel. There are two dashboards. There's a dashboard for Ethereum related blockchains. So those are the ones we can analyze. We can plug in any token into this tool and then we can see how many large holders are there, how many small holders are there, how many new users enter a token, and how many buyers and sellers do we have over time. It's also always useful to look at the token ownership, right? Is a token mainly held just by the whales, by the people that have more than $100,000 worth of the token? If that's true, it's potentially, especially if that happened forever, a quite dangerous token. And so this is how I think about this fundamentally. The target with trading and with investing is to be better informed than the average, to be the person that makes the market efficient. If we are better skilled than the average person, then we should over time also make positive expected value bets. So that means that not every single trade will be positive, but on average, we should make money. Again, because we can estimate the probabilities better. We can see the dangers and the potential upsides better. Now, I have made more than 100 tutorial videos on various topics within crypto. How to do on-chain analytics, how to build a Dune dashboard like we've just seen. But of course, you also get access to the dashboard itself. Also about risk management, about how to properly use leverage, if that's your thing. all kinds of videos. Feel free to check them out. The newest video is this one, how to use perpetual futures and how to use the Hyperliquid platform to beat others. The videos are posted on the website, but they're also posted directly in Telegram. And here's the feedback to that tutorial. Feel free to stop the video and read through this yourself. But of course, we also need to start somewhere. And so I'm personally, of course, sharing my own trades as well as I open them. Of course, I can't share the newest trades here on YouTube, but have a look at this. This is on March 3rd. I'm adding another short, Cardano, relative to the US dollar. And the explainer was in a premium update video. So I publish premium update videos every 3 to 4 days. I then added more exposure on the 11th of March and I then closed it on the 7th of April. So of course, not every trade works out that well, but Cardano went down relative to Bitcoin by 36% during that time. And so with this membership, I want to do both. Of course, I want to make it profitable very quickly. That's why I share my trades, but I also want that the vast majority, at least of the members, takes the time to learn as much as possible. That in the end, you might not even need the membership anymore. You can make your own profitable trades. Now have a look at this. This is where our members share their winning trades. If you use the right leverage, if you know how to do proper risk management as well, you can make hundreds of % in a single trade. It's all about being prepared and knowing the data better than most other market participants. So feel free to check it out. It's currently $125 US per month. The price has been reduced because currently the attention on crypto is still relatively low. Once Bitcoin hits new all-time highs again, then I might go back to the 165. But the 125 is locked in for everybody that signs up now. So when the price increases, when you're still subscribed, your price will not increase. If it's your first time here, feel free to subscribe. I publish videos regularly. A like would be very much appreciated as well. It helps the channel grow. See you next time on YouTube or see you in Premium. There's also a link to Premium directly here on the right. Just click on that. It will lead you directly to the website. So see you next time. Cheers.